Hey,
Hi.
Hey,
hi, Vicky. Hi, Eric. How are you?
Good.
Can
How
you,
are you?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes, yeah, we can
Very
hear
good. All the way from Arizona.
Yeah.
from A to A, Arizona to Australia.
G'day, mate.
G'day.
I'm just going to sit here and listen to you talk.
All right, the Aussie accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
5 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock over here.
10 o'clock
It's a
on.
beautiful. It's a beautiful spring day. About 20 degrees outside Celsius. What's that? 65, 70.
Yeah, that's cold.
Something like that. Yeah. So, mate, this is a great privilege, mate. I'm really happy to be able to talk with you guys. When you hear the story, it'll be quite incredible, really,
Well,
how I come across you.
I'm looking forward to it. But first, let's introduce you. So introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Steve Dalton from the Kiama Men's Shed down in Kiama. The word Kiama is an Aboriginal word meaning place of big noise, because if you look at the logo here, you've got a lighthouse. We're right on the coast, and there's a huge blowhole, volcanic blowhole that is a major tourist attraction in Kiama. And the trouble is, we're locked down at the moment. The whole place is a bit like the coloured rock in Hawaii. It's black rock, basalt. It's volcanic rock.
Yeah.
And up in the mountains, we're up in the hills a little bit. We're about 2 minutes drive to the ocean.
Yeah.
And I remember taking my grandson when he first came down here, and we're driving up over the ridge to go down into the ocean. And we're up very high, and he looked at it, he says, "My God, we're on the edge of the world." So we're very high up. Beautiful place, beautiful place.
Nice.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely gorgeous. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but the fact that we're probably, 20,000 miles away, we can deal with that delay.
I think so, yeah. So that's in Kiama. Kiama is it's a sea. It started off as it's about 2 hours south of Sydney on the coast. Okay. Beautiful drive. We're the end of the electrification of the train line from Sydney. Easy to get to the airport. It started off. The whole place started off as cedar getting for the armies. Came in and landed and took all the cedar trees.
Really?
Beautiful, made cedar furniture for England and all around the world.
What kind of tree?
So
Cedar.
Cedar.
Oh, okay.
Cedar trees, cedar furniture. And then what happened was they found out it was perfect farming land because it's very rich soil, volcanic soil. So they set dairy farms up, and they've set up a big harbour, and we supplied England with a lot of dairy products.
Wow.
And then when the Industrial Revolution hit, they needed basalt to lay in the sleepers, for the trains, like slag or gravel.
Yeah.
And that's what we've got around here. There's about half a dozen quarries that were mined 100 years ago.
Wow. Now, have you been there all your life?
No, I've come from Newcastle up, which is about the same distance north of Sydney that we are south of Sydney. And I came down here teaching.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 70s.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a beautiful place. And now, of course, it's a premier tourist destination.
That's great. Now, so I was watching some of your videos, and did you have a coffee shop, or are you just a coffee?
What happened, long story short, when I turned 50 about 18 years ago, kids had grown up, and I was a teacher since the mid-70s. and I taught economics of business, you know, and I thought, oh, it'd be nice to go into business. So always been pretty get up and go sort of person. So I looked around and had a look around what businesses looked like being fairly growth oriented in the next few years. And of course, coffee was one of them. Oh. And so what I did is I didn't set up a coffee shop or anything, but I thought, oh, what's better than setting up a coffee shop is actually supplying coffee shops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I became very expert in coffee machines.
Huh.
Yeah, I watched about descaling your coffee machine, which I'm really bad at.
Yeah, well, yeah, we used to do that. And I mean, I retired a few years ago. But yeah, we built that business up for nothing. And then we sold it off and I retired. So
that's great.
About 4 years ago.
Fantastic.
So yeah, they reckon I could sell ice to the Eskimos, mate. Well, sorry, the Inuits, not the Eskimos, the Inuits.
There you go. So how did you come across us then?
Well, what happened was when I retired, we traveled around, went to Canada and went to New Zealand and went to Alaska and a few other places. And I come home and I thought, oh, I need to do something. And my wife, Murray, said, yeah, you need to get out of the house. So first thing I did was I bought an electric bike because we live up in the mountains, so I could ride all around the place. So that was all right. And then swimming and diving and surfing and what have you. And then I thought, oh, I might go and join the men's shed. I'm interested in woodwork. I have been very interested back in the 80s, but then the kids grew up, kids came along and I had no time and I took a few promotions. I was pretty busy. So I sort of let that go. So I went down to the men's shed and I thought, oh, I might see if I join. I thought, I wonder if I'll qualify, you know. So I went down there and Tim, the trainer, said to me, he said, you got any skills? And I thought, oh, that's not the question I wanted to hear. And I said, oh, so I had to think pretty quick. I thought, yeah, I got heaps of skills, mate. He said, well, what? I said, I'm a floor technician. And he said, oh, what's that? I said, mate, you need a good floor technician here. The place is filthy. I'm good at vacuuming and sweeping. And they all said, you're in. You're in.
Is that all the guys that were in that group on the beehive thing that you made?
Yeah, a few old blokes. And that was our backyard. That's where I do the carving.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And because we were locked down, not locked down, but we were shut down. We're locked down now. We have been for 2 months.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I joined the men's shed and I took a while to get trained up on stuff. And then a bloke come along from the Jamboree Bowling Club and he said, oh, does anyone make signs? And I said, oh, I don't know. What sort of signs? And he said, oh, wooden signs. And then I said, funny you mention that because I used to make signs back in 1984.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Using a pantograph.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I thought, and I hadn't done, and I sold everything up. And my mother worked for a Makita dealership, first Makita dealership in Australia. So I got one of those Makita D-handled routers.
Yeah.
Very popular, very expensive router. I got one of them.
Yeah.
And I made a few signs back in the 80s. And then I sort of sold everything up, didn't do it. And then I thought, oh, yeah. And then a couple of blokes said, yeah, I wonder how you go about making signs. And I thought, oh, well, I'll go and get another pantograph. So I went and bought another pantograph. And I bought we got heaps of routers down at the shed. But anyway, I bought myself a little router. And I thought, oh, this is very, very restrictive. There's got to be a better way than mucking around with this.
Yeah.
Because you the spacing's not right. And back in the 80s, it was great because there's no such thing as a computer. You could print out a beautiful font or anything. Couldn't do that in the 80s.
Right.
So anyway, I started looking around and I ran into you guys and I thought, look at this, it's amazing. So I studied and I watched and I looked at it and had a go at it and I thought, oh, mate, I'm no good at this. All over the shop, it was hopeless. You make it look so easy.
Yeah.
And as my wife said, well, of course he makes it look easy. He's been doing it for 50 years, you know.
Mhm.
And Dave was there, and I remember Dave saying, you got to persist with it. You know, you just got to, don't worry about the templates and that. Just try, carve a straight line, then a curved line. So I practiced.
Yeah.
And I'm still practicing. And I've watched hours and hours of yours. That I really enjoyed that one last night I watched with the Cutsaw.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because I'm into power. I'm into power carving too. I got one of these big boys, an Arbortech. Have you seen these?
Oh, yeah.
Arbor
I
check.
like those.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I want to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a bloke in Western Australia invented these. This is a little turbo planer.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It'd be ideal for what you're doing when you go in with the Cutsaw and then you're going to go and clear it out.
Yep.
So anyway, I got involved and I got a team of guys together, and they didn't want to know anything about carving, but they were quite happy to prepare the boards and paint the boards and plane them and sand them and then this is one of my earliest ones. It's bloody hopeless, really, but anyway, this is one on Kiama.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's, you know, whales and dolphins. It's big time down here.
Yep.
And then of course we got into the bees,
Mm-hmm.
and I've designed a bee friendly and a bee happy one.
I
Yeah.
saw those. Those are great.
And they're just made out of old fence posts, old hardwood fence palings.
Yeah.
We do rustic. That's what we do, rustic.
Yep. Yep.
And we got a CNC machine, but I do rustic. You know,
Mhm.
people like rustic.
Yeah, it's big.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, they do.
And I've got a little book here that you'd be happy to know about. This is my sign book, and it's full of your tips and tricks.
Oh my gosh.
This one here, this is your 7 tricks, you know, the free
Oh,
course.
The 7 steps.
Written them
Yeah.
all down. I've got the buffing one there. I bought the tips from you. I've got what tips to use when and what depths to go and all sorts of stuff. Written it all down, got it all there. The guys at the shed want to know how I know all this stuff. And I said, oh, pure genius, mate.
All original to you. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go.
Spoken like a true teacher.
But what I did is I decided to get into a bit of a niche. And if you look up the back here, you've got routing, carving, and scrolling. Can you see that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I started off routing, and then we got an Australian champion scroll saw. He's 88 now, down at the shed. And I thought, oh, that might be interesting to get into scrolling. So I've got some lessons. Sucked him dry like I've sucked you guys dry. And I got into scrolling, and then I thought, oh, that'd be interesting. I wouldn't mind getting into carving because all 3 complement each other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I got into carving, you know, I sort of carved little lighthouses, or we got a lot of pelicans around here.
Oh, very cool.
Pelican. And then we've got a lot of cockatoos.
Very cool.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
But the one that I really got into with the power carving was the big reindeer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, now here's an idea for you. You do a lot with the veterans, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Right. Well, we have over here, we have what's called an RSL, which is the Returned Soldiers League.
Mhm.
Okay.
And there was a guy there who was a big time in the Vietnam War, and he went back to Vietnam, and he come up with a bottle opener. Right? Now, this was a bottle opener, this is not the same one, a very primitive bottle opener, And he come back and he said, look, as a fundraiser, we want to make these bottle openers. And he said, what I want is I want a magnet on the bottom and a bolt, so it actually opens up the, see how
Oh, yeah.
opens it up,
Yeah.
and the magnet holds the
Oh, okay.
magnet holds the.
The bottle cap,
And
yeah.
then he said we want it engraved, and he wanted it engraved on the front. Not that one. That's called that's part of the team BO, which is bottle opener. Team BO, Steve. But he wanted lest we forget.
Oh,
That's a big saying over here. Lest we forget.
Yeah.
With the Anzac.
Yeah.
So we've made literally hundreds of those.
Wow.
With lest we forget engraved on it. Just a little bit of Australian hardwood, a bolt and a magnet,
Yeah.
and people love it. They take it to their bar. We sell them for $15 each.
nice.
How cool is that?
And they're easy to make. We have a whole team of people making them. You know, we cut them. Well, it's all recycled timber.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's an idea. I don't know whether.
Yeah. So is that something that you guys do there in the shed then?
Yeah. We do that in the shed. At the moment, we do lots of stuff in the shed, but at the moment we're shut down.
Right.
But you know, they restore furniture. We build beehives. We build beehives, not the ones we put together. We've built tons and tons of toys. We've built heaps of stuff. This is one of the latest inventions that they've come up. We've sold heaps of these. These are called toasted tongs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like those.
Yeah, you know how the toast gets stuck in the toast and you can't get out without burning your fingers?
You can't, you can't put metal in there, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we sold heaps of those. The guys make them. I don't make them, but other people do.
So Steve, can you,
Yeah.
for the people that are watching, Vicki and I know what the shed is, but can you explain, when we're talking about the shed, can you explain that? Because somebody might know what what we're talking about.
Well, it started off in Australia many years ago. I've only been in the shed for a couple of years, but the shed is a dedicated place where mostly blokes, but sometimes ladies go there too, but mostly blokes. And it's a setup where you've got bandsaws, you've got routers, you've got table saws, you've got lathes, and people go there usually 2 days a week, and we make stuff for the community. And it's basically people go there for the tea and the coffee and the cakes and the biscuits, and in between that, they actually build stuff. And it's a great camaraderie. You know, you sit out there, and especially a lot of blokes that have had a high, you know, we've got tons of skillful people there, but, you know, they retire. You know, you've got a draftsman, you've got policemen, you've got teachers, you've got coffee sellers, you've got people that have, you know, done really big things in their life, and all of a sudden they stop work and their wives want them out of the house. and blokes like blokes contact, you know, they like talking to blokes and doing stuff together.
Yeah.
So we do that a couple of days a week, and you get a little bit of training, you know, and develop some skills later in life if you haven't got any. Yeah. And there's, you know, we've got quite a few people there that have got carpentry background, or they've got military background, they've been mechanics and so forth. And they teach people or show people or scold people if they do the wrong thing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
Great thing. I really enjoy it.
So it's literally a community service. You guys do stuff for people in the community. If they've got some furniture that needs to be refinished or whatever, then they bring it to you guys, and it's all a volunteer thing, right?
Yeah, that's right. We make no money out of it. We personally don't make money out of it. We charge a little bit for donations and stuff so that we can pay for tools and ongoing costs.
Yeah.
So, and that's basically what I do. I'm the marketing person, if you like.
Yeah.
On the media.
Is your wife happy now that you're out of the house a few days a week?
Oh, yeah, we get on quite well. She does a lot of painting and stuff. She's out walking at the moment. But she's done a little bit of resin too, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Terrific.
She does, the flow art, the pour art, acrylic pours and that.
Yep.
And we've got a wall up here called the gallery, and it's got all her paintings on. She doesn't like showing people much, but anyway, it's pretty good.
That's good. That's very cool.
So she's obviously retired as well, huh?
Oh yeah, we're both retired, mate. We're both sold the coffee business, and that's it, mate. I don't chase money anymore. I don't have to worry about that. I just do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Power carve, routing, scrolling, and carving.
Yeah.
And I've only got a cheap router. I've got a couple of routers, but this is the router I use for carving, for just a Ryobi, cheap Ryobi one.
Ryobi, yeah. Yeah, and you made a big base plate for it.
Sorry?
You made a big base plate. What is that, like? Yeah, big.
Yeah, that's the first big base plate I made.
Yeah.
I just made a base plate.
Yep.
And I put your tips in there. I've got two tips, the profile bit and the 90 degree.
Yeah.
I bought those ages ago. I should get a 60 degree, but that does me at the moment. That's all I need. And down at the shed, we've got lots of Makita routers. We've got big Bosch router tables, and you can do it. You can build anything down there. It's a massive place.
That's fantastic. So what you guys do down there, is it just woodworking based? Because I heard you say something about mechanics and all different kinds of things, but this is just woodworking based, correct?
Yeah, it is. We've got a couple of blokes who've got metal lathes at home, and if anybody needs any metal work done, they'll do it for us at home.
Gotcha.
But we don't do any. There's no welding bays or anything like that there.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds great.
Wow. Quite a life you got there, my friend.
And it's 1 minute walk to the beach from where we are at the men's shed.
And I heard you mention surfing and diving and so you're talking about scuba dive?
Years ago, I used to scuba dive. You'd like it down here. There's a river called the Minamoa River. And the Minamoa is an Aboriginal word from the Tarwal people who've been here for centuries, thousands and thousands of years, Aboriginal people. And Minamoa means place of plenty of fish.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of place.
Oh, yeah. It starts up in the mountains, the river, and comes right down. Beautiful outlet to the ocean there. Beautiful swimming. Absolutely magnificent.
Wow.
Canoeing.
I imagine that's one of the reasons it's a high tourist area.
Yes. And the climate is, you can't get much of such a mild climate, beautiful climate.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, any idea when this whole lockdown thing is gonna let up?
11th of November is when they reckon 70% of New South Wales, which is the state we live in, 70% of New South Wales will be double vaxxed.
Oh, gotcha. That's the target is, and then once that happens, then they're thinking about lifting the restrictions then?
Yes, yeah, it'll open up. We're not allowed to go anywhere at the moment, except down for exercise down the parks and the beaches and that.
Yeah.
Not allowed shopping. We're allowed to go to supermarkets and that, but nothing else.
Right. Wow. Right.
I haven't been out of the local area, which goes about 5 kilometres one way and 5 kilometres the other for about 2 months.
Wow.
Unfortunately, my grandson lives in Sydney, and I see him on Zoom.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting. He's got a bit of an interest in when he comes down here. He loves playing in the shed, in our shed here.
Yeah.
He likes to do a bit of carving. And the funny story is, he come down one day and I said, "Well, why don't we do some carving?" And he said, "Oh, that'd be good." I said, "What would you like to carve?" And he's into these Japanese games, like the manga games, the characters. And there's a character called Levi, which looks a little bit like him. black hair and, you know, very Japanesey looking. And I said, oh, we could carve him out. I said, now, how are we going to get that on the timber? And he said, oh, I'll put a bit of paper up on the computer screen and trace around it. He's got a big iPad, and every time we went to trace it, the picture would go in and out of size.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, look, send me the photo on the computer and I'll print it out. He said, well, how do we get it onto the wood? I said, oh, I got this fantastic idea. He said, what? I said, look at this. A little bit of black paper, you put it on the timber, and you put the paper over it and you trace over it and it comes out on the timber. He said, no, that won't work. Carbon paper, that won't work. You've never seen it before.
How old is he?
He's 10.
Oh, okay.
You never seen
carbon paper.
Oh my gosh. That's
so anyway, we carved it all out for him, and, you know, carved the eyes out, and he painted it all, and it's sitting up in his room up in Marrickville in Sydney. He thinks that's pretty cute.
That's cool. What a great story. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it?
Our grandsons are into that anime stuff too.
Anime, that's it. Anime, that's right. Same thing.
Yeah, very, very popular. I don't understand it, but I understand it's popular with the kids.
Your kids that understand Levi, they'd know Levi.
Yeah,
oh yeah, I'm sure they would.
I know they would.
I made them a set of dominoes out of the resin. I made each one of them a set of dominoes, and I put their characters from their video games in the dominoes, so they each have a set of dominoes with their favorite game in it. So.
Oh, very good. Very good.
I don't know.
There's no end to it, is there?
No.
Yeah, there's just so many different things you can do, and with all the different things that you have learned with the carving, the hand carving, the scrolling, and you know, the routing, you know, you mix those things together, it kind of opens up a million possibilities. Oh
yeah, it's very exciting. It's a bit of a second. I'm into my last quarter. Might even be in my last 10%, but anyway, at least I'm going to make the most of it. I'm going out. Some blokes don't do anything, you know. Some blokes at my age, they're not doing anything, you know.
Yeah. Well, you look like you've taken pretty good care of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I work hard at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But mate, I've really enjoyed finding you on the internet. I can tell you.
Well, I think we're coming down to the end here. So, Steve, it has been a pleasure, just a joy.
It's exciting meeting people outside of the U.S. that find him and his videos, and it's just so cool. Yeah, we just got to figure a way to take one of our road trips over to your place. Oh, mate, you blow your mind. Go and have a look at Kiama, mate. Kiama, place of loud noise. I'd never get him back here. I will definitely research that and put that on my list. It would be such a blast to get over there and come and do something in the shed, meet all the blokes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, mate, there's some talent there, I can tell you. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Well, my friend, thank you again so much. We so appreciate you, and it's just been a joy. Well, mate, I can't thank you enough. Both you and Vicky, I've really enjoyed the resin. I'm going to do a little bit of, I got resin now. I'm going to have a go at some resin. Good. And yeah, all the, no doubt the blokes at the shed will see this, and I'm also in a carving group, so they'll see it. Good. I'll put it up on YouTube and I'll spread it around. There you go. It'll be on YouTube this Friday. I'm really looking forward to seeing the end of that Ryan sign, mate, with how are you going to do the background? Yeah, it's coming up. Well, I guess for Wednesday here is Thursday there, your place. But yeah, you'll see it in a couple of days. Excellent. Righto, guys. Thanks a lot. Thank you so Steve. Much. All the best. Bye. Truly a pleasure. Bye-bye. Yep. Bye-bye.